Okay, uranium is now on our radar. Still 30 meters away. Our oxygen shouldn't get any lower. We're on an Earth-like planet, so. And our energy, we're still at 82%. So there again, I'm not too worried about that. With the uranium being down here as far as it is, it does make it a little bit harder. I don't have a lot of resources. I can't build a decent drill, so you can actually build a ship and take it down. But I can't really do that right now. Just I don't have enough resources gathered yet. And that's taken a while. I actually played this game for almost 2 months before I realized what kind of problems I was having. Is more server issues, and landing was one of them that was just a huge pain. I had a real difficult time making landings, and it wasn't easy anyhow. You just got to take your time. If you're impatient, this might not be a good game for you. Actually, maybe space travel may not be a good game for you. Yeah. Now, uranium will have kind of a dark gray color look to it, just like that. Lighting is one thing they still need to work on a little bit, I think. They've come a long way. Alright, now, you are going to get stone. I really don't want the stone, so I'm going to let the stone kind of... Actually, I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to gather it all to help keep it clear. Oh. And I'm sure that's not dizzying at all. Now, uranium is tough because you only get a small percentage of the processed ore, too. Sorry, I'm just swinging the drill all over the place. Okay, now my volume capacity that I can carry is 4,000 kilograms, or is it liters? It's volume. So yeah, it's I believe it's liters. That's still, I think that would equate to quite a bit. Of weight too. I'm not sure what the kilogram or the mass. And I like the outer space aspect of this game. However, not having asteroids in this server. My goal right now is to get into outer space and make a base. Make a platform in outer space. So, over the next weeks, months, years, we'll see how well I do. Okay, I'm about half capacity right now. And I'm doing pretty good. This is a pretty nice little uranium vein. And no, you don't have to worry about radiation poisoning. Oh. Nope, I don't want to build anything. Okay, let's make sure I'm upright. There we go. A little disoriented. Turn on my jetpack, and that jetpack will set you right side up. Alright, I'm at 2,500. And I'm going down at an angle here. This is a nice uranium. A nice uranium mine. Now be careful about how much uranium ore you... Wow, like jumping all over the place. Oh, it's because I was still squatting. Now, I probably have a small percentage of stone. Almost 1,400 kilograms that I'm carrying just of stone. But I've got 6,200 kilograms of uranium. And I don't know if I have by percentages. If you give me a second, I will bring that up on the Space Engineer site. It'll actually tell me what percentage of uranium I can actually get from that after I run it through the refinery. And it's woefully small. Gold, uranium. I think uranium is 0.7%. Let's find out. Uranium, or yes, 0.7%. So there's not a whole lot that I get. So I would literally, to get sizable amounts, I need tens of thousands. Right now, though, I'm not using a lot, but I am running on very little on the ship. And actually, the starter ship gives you 0.03 kilograms, or 0.03 of an ingot. I'm not sure if that's in the actual weight for the ingot. It's a 1 gram ingot. All right. Let's see. I've got enough that I can start the ore process. But now that I'm down here, I'm going to specifically, so I know exactly where it is. We're going to create a GPS unit, and I'm going to proceed with a couple letters instead of just putting U for uranium. And so, because right now these are just areas. Actually, I need to change those. Let's see. We're going to put RA for rough area. So that way I know I'll have to go scan for, oops, around that area. If none of that makes sense, I apologize. I know what makes sense in my head. So those aren't specifics. Those aren't specifically where those at. Oop, and that one too. Alright, but the one I'm at right now should be, I'm not sure where this, oh, apparently I did it twice. So let's just delete one. And this one right here, let's just, I'm gonna get paranoid about it. New from current position, we're gonna go like this. And this one right here, we're just gonna name it U for uranium. And that's specifically, so if it says RA, it means it's roughly in that area. If it just has the element, then that is where that is. That's with that GPS coordinate. All right, so now we're gonna fly out. I'm gonna hit X, which will turn on my jetpack, and then we'll aim back up. And I have to be careful. First of all, you can hurt yourself. There's the cobalt, so I have to come back and get some cobalt. I have to dig a side tunnel. But on the planet Earth, you will eat through the hydrogen as a fuel source pretty quick. Alright. And we'll hop back down. And then we're going to go in ship. And we will put this up in the refinery. Now later you'll find out that you can actually make the refineries a lot more efficient. However, to get that efficiency up, there's things you have to add to it, and there's not enough room. But like I said, my main goal is to make sure I get a decent power source. Oops, I went the refinery, not the cargo storage. So we're going to go ahead and turn the uranium in here, and it'll start cooking it up. And we need gravel. You need gravel to make the reactors. You need the reactor components, so you put down your little nuclear reactors. To do this, then you'll need a little bit of gravel. Gravel is not needed a whole lot, and I learned the hard way that don't get rid of all of it, because when you need it, you don't have gravel around, and that kind of stunk. Now I do got a little bit of ice over here too, and everything on this ship is connected through what's known as a conveyor system. I really like this concept. Here's an actual conveyor, and this is actually a conveyor tube. And as long as the conveyors are connected to a single device like this, then it'll allow them to interact with other devices. So I can actually pull inventory from my oxygen tanks. So I can literally go to my cargo container, which I'm right next to, and I can open up the cargo container and I can put ice right in it. Or, yeah, since it's hooked up to the conveyor system, it automatically took the ice to the oxygen generator, which is what I wanted. Now, if I was running low on oxygen, I can actually just grab it and pull it right here. Even though it's pulling it from a different side of the ship, that conveyor allows you to do that. I really like that design. If your conveyor system is broken, that won't work. So what we're going to do is I'm going to grab my grinder, and we're going to put a kink in the conveyor. You can see now there's a red on either side. So now if I go in here and I can still see what's in the inventory, but if I try to drag it, it kind of dims my area out, means I can't move from it. And I'm just trying to drag over, and it won't let me do that. So now I didn't take the whole structure down, so I don't need to go look it up. Oops, but I do need to get my welder. The welder is what allows you to put pieces back together, and the conveyor tube is already there, and all the components should still be on my person. And yep, now they're golden again. So it's now talking. Now there are exceptions to the conveyor system, like the cargo containers can be side by side and automatically interact with each other, and I can pull those back and forth through those. So the conveyor, in that case, kind of acts like a conveyor, but only, or sorry, cargo acts like a conveyor, but only with other cargo containers. Anything else, I would still have to have a conveyor block to move those. You can do that with the nuclear reactor. Nuclear reactor, however, oh yeah, sorry, it does. It's got a conveyor block, so I can literally move. Now, this actually, as it's cooking it, oh, it's going up already. So we got 3.48, and I had like 0.3 or 0.03. I didn't have much uranium, and I have 3.5. So as it's refining the ore, it's automatically moving it to the reactor for me. Now, I can actually pick that up and move that into another cargo container that's not part of the conveyor system if I want to store it separately. Alright, let's see. Is the sun setting? Because if it is, it's going to get dark, and then I may just wait a little bit to do the next part if it's going to get too dark, because it's a real pain in the keister to work in the pitch black. Now, like I said, this is a starter ship, but everything in here is usable, and everything here is just made up of components. If I bring out my grinder and you get close enough to it, you'll see on the right it'll identify what it is. It's a conveyor, and it tells me what components are in it. So if I'm actually cannibalizing something and I'm looking for something specific, I can say, hey, does this have computers? I don't see any computers listed in here, so I may not tear it apart. Sometimes you just tear it apart and tear it apart. But just be careful, because some things might be holding something up. It'll come crashing down, and that happens way too often. Since I'm on a planet that has air, I don't necessarily need this. This is a vent, and with that turned on, with the door shut, it'll actually pressurize the oxygen in here. So I'm just wondering if this wouldn't be just a bad spot or not. There's cobalt here. Let's go ahead and look. See what else I'm going to need. I do need uranium. I'm going to look at my GPS and see what it is I found. Gold and silver. Iron is a good one for me to be able to find. So I might go to the iron. Iron is one that you'll be surprised how often you end up using that quite a bit. So we are going to head over to the iron, or where we saw it. And actually I'm going to take off all these. I'm going to keep the iron one. I'm going to uncheck these so these don't just show up. And the uranium one I can turn off. There's a hole in the ground, so I'm going to have to be careful about that. And if I look around, I can see that the iron, magnesium, and silicone, turn my light off now, put my tools away, is 1.77 kilometers that way. So I think I'm going to make that my home, and I'm going to work out of the ship, but as I'm going to slowly build a ship using the iron that I collect from that there. So you're going to constantly get that message and I'll show you how to get rid of that message. Okay, I need to release the docking clamps, so to speak. Turn our ship. We're gonna head to the dark side of the moon. And while we're going, let's see if we can't find any other ores. Oh, you know what? I did not mark this one. So silver and cobalt, uranium. There was something else. Was there magnesium other than ice? Silver and cobalt. I'm not going to remark the uranium since I've already got that one specific. So silver and cobalt. So new from current position. I like that. RA and silver AG and cobalt CO. And of course ice, since we're on a lake. Sometimes you'll find these really nice mounds that are real obvious on the planet's surface. But I found out the lakes sometimes are easier. This one is just a huge find. I can't believe how much ores there was in this one lake. And I don't know if the planets are laid out exactly the same. So if you get onto a different planet or something, if the ores would be in the same positions or not, that might be something for a future test. Alright, I'm gonna have to go outside the ship. Nickel. Did I get nickel? I did not. I thought I ran across nickel. I didn't put nickel, and there's nickel in this area. I need to scoot backwards a little bit. I didn't see where the iron was. Unless that was the nickel. It was nickel, not iron. Which that's fine. I definitely need nickel. But I could definitely use iron, so I may have to fly. Iron is, that's what it was. So I thought I'd seen nickel. So we're gonna change that iron to that blue one to nickel. Wait, there we go. And we can unhide that. And now sometimes also if I'm flying around, I'll uncheck them or recheck them all, so I make sure I don't scan the same area again. So it just keeps me from going to a different area. It is getting dark, so I may wait to do a little more recording once there's some daylight. But right now I'm going to go ahead and do some more flying around, but I'm going to do that off camera and see if I can't find some iron. Alright, so this Optimus 1971, that's just the beginnings for the Space Engineers. Sorry we didn't really get actually any building and anything. I want to make sure I get a good source of iron, so that way I don't have to tear apart the ship near as much for the basic build. But because once I get the basic stuff started, then I will literally tear the ship apart. But I want to make sure, and I'll do that once the sun is back up. So this is Optimus 1971 again, and I'm signing off.